I'm Ted Wigga, and this is Culinary Corner at WYE the Network. And tonight, we're talking about fish and chips. I know, that doesn't sound very scary, but we're not talking about the kind that you get from your freezer. The kind that we all have stuck away in there somewhere for those quick night dinners when nothing else seems or sounds very good. We're talking about making fish and chips from scratch. Just got a little scary, didn't it? But don't worry, we have got a recipe tonight that makes fish and chips from scratch as easy as taking it out of the freezer. Really, very simple, very quick, very easy. You can use it on a weeknight when you're trying to get the kids back to their homework, or for any night, really. It's just that good. And we're going to throw in a side of mushy peas. Not really sure what that's about, but our very own Chef John is about to show us.
So tonight we're going to be cooking a traditional English recipe right here, fish and chips with mushy peas. Why do I love this recipe so much? Although I lived in Italy all this time, well, there was one time with me and my friends were hanging out at this one, they call it an Italian birreria, I guess what you would call it out here would be pub, or anywhere you can have a beer, a bar. However, pub would be more of the right description to describe this place to you. However, this place was found right next to the Cathedral of Cremona in the city that I lived in, and if I remember correctly, the name was the Old Tower. We would used to go out there at night, just have ourselves a few beers, and while we were in there, we'd just order up a snack. And one of the snacks that I just loved to order was fish and chips. When I came back over here, I had a friend of mine on Facebook, his name Chris. He gave me a little suggestion to create this dish myself, and he also gave me a little insight on how you would say Yorkshire, excuse me if I'm not getting that pronunciation right, Yorkshire type of way of making this dish by using a brown ale in the batter. So, we're going to start cooking this right now, but before that, let me show you the ingredients. And let me wash my hands first. Alright, let's get on with this. Alright, so to cook this dish, what we're going to need are 2 cod fillets right here, a half a pound of frozen peas, 4 potatoes that I cut into chips, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I have some black pepper right here. I'm going to be adding 1 teaspoon in the batter and a little bit to taste in my mushy peas. However, we'll get to that later. 1 teaspoon of malt vinegar, a handful of mint leaves, 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter, 12 ounces of beer. Now, like I said, that friend of mine from England, he gave me a recipe for a Yorkshire style of batter, which includes a brown ale. Now, you could use any type of beer you want. If you use a brown ale, it will come out more with a stronger flavor and a browner color. However, it's all up to you. I have right here 1 cup of unbleached flour. We're going to reserve a little bit of this for us to dredge our fish with. Some vegetable oil that I'm going to use for frying. Just enough for you to be able to fry your chips and your fish in. We're going to show you later. Salt to taste. That's it. Let's start cooking this.
Hi, it's Ted Wigga, back here behind all this nakedwines.com wine that just arrived, just in time for our very first wine party of one. So, as you know, we are so excited that WYE the Network has partnered with nakedwines.com, and they have generously provided a special offer to you, all the WYE the Network viewers. What you need to do is go to our website, which is www.wyenterprises.com, which should be appearing on your screen down there right about now. And you're going to need the following. You're going to need a voucher code, which is WYE 1013, and a voucher password, which is, in our case, cooking, all lowercase. Cooking, like what we do on Culinary Corner at WYE the Network. You know that show. So, go to our website, www.wyenterprises.com, and get all the details on how you can go over to nakedwines.com and take advantage of this very special offer. We'll see you next time on WYE the Network. Bye!
Okay, so the first thing we're going to start doing here is blanching our potatoes. So I have these chips that I showed you earlier. What I want to do, I just want to fill this pot with just enough water to cover these potatoes. Just like that. Okay, that's good. Let's move to the stove. Alright, so we put these potatoes in this pot, and I put in here just enough water for that water to cover these potatoes. What I'm going to do next, I'm just going to raise the heat on high, bring these potatoes up to a boil, and we're going to blanch them for 3 minutes. So, let's wait for that to happen, and we'll get back to you. Okay, so we let our potatoes boil for 3 minutes. What we want to do next is just dump them out and strain them. Alright. We strained them out. What we want to do now is just place them in a bowl with ice water, just to shock them to stop the cooking process. Alright, now we're going to start making our peas right here, so let's move back to the stove. Alright, so we're going to start cooking our peas here, and on this stove I have a pot of boiling water. What I want to do, I want to just grab these peas and just dump them in here. And then, I'm going to just shake them up a little bit. There we go. I'm going to put a lid on top of this pot and drop it to a simmer. We're going to let these go 5 minutes or until nice and soft. Okay, so we finished blanching our peas. What we want to do next, we just want to pour them into this container right here. I have a strainer and a bowl underneath, because what I want to do, not only I want to strain the peas, but I also want to reserve the water. Okay, let's move on to what we're going to do with these now. Okay, so we finished cooking our peas, and now what we want to do is make our mushy peas. So to do that, I have a food processor. You can replicate what the food processor does to these peas by either mashing them by hand or using a food mill. Any other type of way will do. But since I have a food processor, let's use it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab these peas and I'm going to pour them inside this food processor. Alright. Okay, now that we're done with that, we want to grab like a half a ladle of this cooking water that we reserved from when we cooked our peas and just pour it in here. That's about good. Excuse me, I'll move this aside. Alright. Next thing, we want to grab this handful of mint leaves, just drop it in here, together with our butter, pepper to taste. I like a lot of pepper, so I'm going to add like a teaspoon in here. There we go. And for now, just a pinch of salt. Salt is all up to your preference. I'm adding a pinch in here so I can taste it later to see if this is up to my preference in regards to how much salt I want in my mushy peas. Alright, close this up, let's start it. Alright, so we finished processing these mushy peas, so what we're going to do now, we're just going to check on the flavor. Alright, let me see here. That's delicious. Now, just to give you an idea, when you're processing your mushy peas, you want them exactly like this. Just a nice creamy paste, and you're going to use this later to dip your fish in. So, speaking of that, let's start cooking our fish and making our batter. Alright, so what we want to do first to cook our fish is create the batter. So I have this bowl right here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add in this bowl 1 cup of unbleached flour. Then we want to add 1 teaspoon of salt. Always up to your preference. You want to add more, you want to add less, add less. It's all up to you. Then we want to add in here some black pepper. Like I said, I like black pepper, so I'm going to add a whole teaspoon in here. All up to your preference. Okay. Done with that, we're going to add in here our baking soda. And then we're just going to, with our whisk, incorporate all these ingredients all real nice. Okay, now that we're done incorporating our ingredients into our flour, what we want to do, we want to grab the brown ale or the beer, depending on what you have, and while whisking, just add it slowly to this flour mixture until you get a nice thick batter. Okay, so we added our beer in the batter right here. We got it up to the consistency that we want. Not too thick, but not too thin either. Halfway. You don't really have to use all the beer either. Just keep adding it until you get up to that nice consistency that we see right here. Last thing we want to add is our malt vinegar. Our malt vinegar. Excuse my accent again. Like I said, add this malt vinegar in here. What this malt vinegar is going to do is not only going to add flavor to this batter, but it's also going to help leaven this batter because we put in there that baking soda. Baking soda together with an acid, added together with an acid, as we did right here with the malt vinegar. Malt vinegar is an acid, so when you add an acid together with baking soda will act like a leavening agent. It will give you a nice crispy crust. Okay, this is finished. Let's move on to the next step. Alright, so what we're going to start doing right now is cooking our fish and our chips. So, I have these 2 pans over here warming up on high heat. What I want to do, I just want to add enough vegetable oil in both of these pans. One pan, enough to cover the fish that we're going to put in there later. In the other pan, just enough vegetable oil to have those potatoes float nice. So what we want to do, excuse me while I keep adding this oil in here, that's good. Alright, we want to get this oil in both of these pans as high as 350 degrees. We're going to wait for that to happen, then we're going to add our fish and our potatoes. Alright, so my oil is heated up to 350 degrees, and one way you could check this is either by using a thermometer for your oil, an oil thermometer, or you could grab a potato, just place it in here, And if you see it fry up like that, you're ready to go. Alright, so what we're going to do now, very gently, we're going to grab these potatoes and pour them in here. There we go. Alright, what we want to do, we want to let these potatoes become nice and golden brown and crispy. So we're going to wait for that to happen. We're going to start cooking our fish. Okay, so while our chips are finishing frying here, what we want to do next, we want to fry our fish. So I have these 2 cod fillets, and all I did was place a little bit of flour in this pan and dredged these cod fillets on both sides all evenly. What I want to do next, I have this batter that I prepared earlier. You just want to grab one of these pieces of fish and just dip it in this batter. Alright, this oil is nice and hot at 350. One way you could check for your oil to be ready when you're cooking the fish is just grab a little bit of that batter and pour it in there. If it drops down, rises back to the surface frying, then you're ready. Okay, so just grab this fish and always place your fish in the pan away from you. Just in case you have any splatter going on, you're not going to have the oil, the hot oil splattering back at you. Same thing with the other fillet. Drain off the excess and pour it in here. Alright, just flip them over, get both sides all nice and crispy. Okay, so it's only been like 2 to 3 minutes. These fillets do not take long to cook at all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull them off. And I'm going to place them on top of this rack to drain. Okay, by now our chips should be ready. So we're going to finish this off. We're going to plate it up and we're going to show you the finished product. Alright, so we finished with our fish and chips and mushy peas, a traditional English recipe that I just love. Made with brown ale. It just comes out with a beautiful brown color, and it has a flavor that differs a little bit from using regular beer. Adding some malt vinegar into that batter also gives it a distinct flavor. I love malt vinegar. You can also pour some on top of that fish. Never tried malt vinegar. It's a particular flavor that I really don't want to describe too much. I let you the opportunity to give it a try because I tell you, you'll love it. Now, you can either serve this dish up with either your mushy peas. Try it out. I would recommend you try the mushy peas, but if it's not for you, go ahead and use a tartar sauce. It's all up to your preference. Enjoy this with a good beer. You will love it. So, fish and chips with mushy peas. This is all the time we have for tonight. I hope you enjoy this dish with your family and friends. Till next time, enjoy.
Thank you, Chef John, for showing us such a quick and easy way to make fish and chips from scratch. I told you, it wasn't going to be that difficult. I know it's not the same as going to your freezer and opening a bag and popping it in the oven, but these are fresh fish and chips. Your family's going to love them. And as you can see, it's a quick and easy process. It'll be on the table in no time and you can get those kids back to their homework and enjoy the rest of your evening. So a couple things you want to keep in mind with this recipe. You want to make sure that your cod fillets are the freshest that you can get. Go to your local fishmonger. If you don't have a local fishmonger, just go to the fish department in your local grocery store and make sure that you ask for the freshest cod fillet that they have available. Take those home, use those, and it'll be a wonderful dish. Second thing you want to keep in mind, whether your potato is a traditional white baking potato or a red skin potato, you want to make sure the potato is of a good size and it has a nice firm texture to it so that when you cut your chips, you have a hearty slice that you can actually bake and turn into those chips that John showed us how to make. And that mushy pea sauce for dipping looks really amazing, and I'm going to give that a try tonight. As you can see, I've got some potatoes to get to clean in there, prep in there. So thank you. We are grateful that you have spent this time with us tonight. If you would like a copy of tonight's recipe, if you would like to suggest a recipe, or if you would like to be a guest on a future episode of Culinary Corner at WYE The Network, please send us an email to wyeTheNetwork@wyenterprises.com. Should be showing up somewhere in that vicinity right about now. We'll see you next time when we meet you on the corner, the Culinary Corner, right here on WYE The Network. Bye. Hi, I'm Ted Wigga. Hi, I'm Ted Wigga, and this is Culinary Corner. Good to see your little face right there. Hi, I'm Ted Wigga, and this is WYE The Network at Culinary Corner. Hi, I'm Ted Wigga, and this is Culinary Corner at WYE The Network. Tonight we're talking about fish and chips. You know, they come from the French fries.
From the French freezer.